There are so many rich Arab countries. Why aren't they accepting the refugees? Why do we expect Europe to fix all the world-life problems? Zero illegal migrants. Zero illegal migrants.
Let's think selfishly here. How does Trump election impact Poland, impact us here?
The lesson needs to be taken from France, Germany, because the first migrants were the legal migrants. Do you know what is the budget of Russia for propaganda? It's hundreds of billions of dollars each year.
Do you think that Poland is woke?
We are talking about there is a third or fourth gender. Prostitution is okay. We are talking about you don't need education. You can be whoever you want. No.
Do you think men are becoming more feminine these days? Hello and welcome to Warsaw Confidential, Poland's #1 podcast in English. I am your host Kamal Jahid, and today the queen is back, Karolina Pajączkowska, my dear friend and colleague. So as you might know, Donald Trump has won the presidency, and we and Karolina are gonna talk about it. We're gonna have her take on it and the impact on this election on Poland and many other topics in the world. We are going to discuss the Ukrainian situations in Poland as a lot of tension arises. We're gonna talk about OnlyFans, masculinity, pop culture. I got a perfect episode for you guys today. Thank you so much for supporting our show. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Please enjoy this episode. Before we start, I want to tell you about a place I call home. This place is Leila Restaurant and Lounge, located at the heart of Warsaw at Żurawia 32. I call this place home because, first of all, Leila is the name of my own mother. And this is the place where you find me having a meal or having a business meeting or simply just hanging out with my friends. I love Leila so much because this is where I see Polish people and friends from around the world come together to share a drink, a meal, a laugh, or a story. I am happy to announce that Leila is now a proud sponsor of the Warsaw Confidential show. And for you guys, we have a very special deal. You get 10% off your bill, your meal, drinks, whatever you get at Leila. You just have to mention Warsaw Confidential and you will get your discount. Thank you, Leila, for sponsoring this episode. I look forward to seeing you all there. Karolina, welcome back.
Thank you for having me again. I feel like, it's been wild. The last episode, we talked about those politics, and there you go. It went so viral, and I'm so pleased because, I'm a politics journalist. So I've always been said that, politics, I don't watch it, I don't listen, I don't care. And then there you go. Everyone keeps on talking about this because I feel, nowadays, look what is happening. It's so important.
Exactly. That's what I actually want to start off. We are on the brink of a very crucial moment in history of time, which is Trump getting elected as president of the US.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Where do you land on this?
Well, actually, it's unbelievable how the polls were showing all this time that no, there's no chance he will win. Oh, maybe Kamala. Everybody was cheering for Kamala, and then the amount of backlash towards him was so huge. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's always people. It's the nation who has the final vote, and this is showing us one very important thing: that the voice of the people will always count the most. And because the situation, not economy, but the household situation was so difficult and is so difficult in US, that's why people turn to Trump, because they feel it's getting worse. And as you look in Europe, we're going downfall as well. And
so? Why do you think we're going down? What do you mean by that?
So the economy is collapsing. It is okay for now, but as we've known from the report of Mario Draghi, we need 800 billion euros to pump up in the European economy so we can go efficient, so we can go into like, we can start
Prosperity.
we can go into prosperity, and we can actually think in real life about having a success like China or US. So the Europe is downfalling. But on the other hand, we still can change this. So we can turn tables.
Okay, let me stop you there. Let's think selfishly here. How does Trump election impact Poland, impact us here?
So with the Trump, it's very tricky because, well,
I
so
bet.
at some point, Trump is the voice of those who are very keen on patriotic approach, who are very keen on the nations and, doing everything is best for your country. But then, on the other hand, the first thing he says will be, the first thing he will do, he says, will be to end up the war in Ukraine.
Right.
And this is tricky for us because if he will sit on the table with Vladimir Putin, who is a war crime, right? He's a war crime criminal. So he will end up this war. And if he will end up this war, then Putin will have some time to recover from the losses he got in Ukraine. And then he can just, make his efforts grow again, and he can make his army to rebuild again. And you know what is the next step?
What is it? I don't know.
So, well, he's been so vocal about the fact that he wants to restore the great Russian nation, which was back in the day, 18th century, when Poland was under Russian command. So that's why it is very tricky for us, because Trump, like I said, he's very into nation, patriotic, he's anti-immigrants. But with Russia, he just wants the peace to make, because he believes in isolation, like Ronald Reagan. So for a Polish citizen, we don't really know what's going to happen. But he loves Poland. We know this because of course, he was in Poland. He's shown on numerous occasions that he's really into Polish mindset and souls. Like, I know you're fighters. I know you've been always standing against the oppressors. And also, it's because of his policies, the relocation of the American soldier from Germany to Poland started. So now we have a stronger appearance of American soldiers in Poland because of the Donald Trump's diplomacy and the law. So it is so hard to say what the future will bring. But for me, I think the next elections in Poland, which is the presidential election, will tell it all.
I see. All right, let's zoom in there. So, because there was recently a law in Poland regarding immigration, because one mentions Trump and immediately we think about migrants or immigration. And Poland has a lot of, you said it yourself in our last conversation, the social media clips went super viral because we were talking about immigration. And mainly I was talking about it, and it got an interesting angles that we talked about. So tell me about this law. We mentioned briefly before we start shooting. You said there was this new law. What's going on?
Yeah.
Am I being deported? No?
Yeah, I think you can be pretty safe for now.
Thank God.
No,
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Basically, so Polish government is implementing this 8 points of new migrants law. It's going to hold on asylum procedure for those seeking asylum.
Okay.
And it's already approved by European Union, because at this point we have to know that the migrants who are coming to Poland, the illegal migrants who are starting to force the border, and we've seen those pictures, right?
Oh, yeah.
They are a part of this hybrid war. So they are not just a migrant seeking for asylum or seeking for better life. They are a weapon that is put towards Polish and the rest of European citizens.
So who's putting the weapon? Who do you think is weapon?
Well, it seems like obvious. We've talked about it. That's why I told you that Trump is problematic at some point, because Russia and Belarus are doing its best to destabilize both economically, politically, even socially, Europe.
Yeah.
And they want to have it for themselves. So like I told you, they want to restore the great empire. They want to be an important figure, because nowadays the world is not globalized anymore. The United States will be not leading its role. The world will turn into many points of powers. So for example, in Europe, what we see now, you might not see it because it's a narrow picture, but in 10 or 20 years, you will realize that what Russia started back in the 2014 when it started to invade Ukraine, it was actually a fight for ruling Europe. You know what's happening in the Middle East right now? So
Breaks my heart.
So Israel is fighting to be a leader in the Middle East. China will start to fight for its role in the whole worldwide chains, the economics, both the influential technologies, and also in Africa, in South America, in each and every continent, there will be a leader who will be fighting to get as much as it's possible from the power. So we're not going to be this American society again. We're going to be part into different regimes who will be ruling the part of the world that we live in. So we said about this migrants policy.
This illegal migrants coming, they're being weaponized, and the rhetoric from especially politicians here, they say, we don't want this illegal Muslims. They are killers, they are terrorists, they are rapists.
Zero illegal migrants. Zero illegal migrants. I know who you're talking. I think I know what you're relating
Wait
to.
a moment. So what I'm trying to get here, what I find it unfair.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of people who actually do not understand what's a true Muslim is, because I don't want to dive, it's not a religious episode, but we could have another episode about that, like the true values of Islam and all these things. It's very deep, and the media or the mainstream media likes to portray. And so what breaks my heart is this, the normal Muslims, that they actually have they have good hearts and good values, and they're being put in the same basket. As myself, I feel, attacked sometimes when politicians say, Muslims are rapists, Muslims are terrorists. And I'm like, man, dude, I'm just doing my little podcast. Why do I have to be put in this basket? So the rhetoric or the way of communicating is efficient because it works. It speaks to a certain demographics that are on the right, extreme right, and it makes them come alive, if I may.
Yeah.
So what do you think about this rhetoric and this style of communication?
So I should say that you should consider yourself a lucky one, because
Okay.
the first 20 years of 21st century,
Mhm.
it was so anti-Muslim. It was so anti-Islam because of the American rhetoric, right? Because they had an enemy.
9/11, yeah?
They had the enemy they wanted to fight over. So right now, Russia took it all. So now the worst thing in the world is to be a Russian. So by this, you already know that the world is so biased. It means there is no real threat. There is the threat that some politicians, some countries will point at. So now, actually, Muslims are the victims of bad Jewish, right? So we are now realizing that it's not about politics. It's not about who is bad or who is good. It's all about the interest. So as a Polish citizen, I've been living in England. I told you this the last time. And I remember, honestly, English are so racist. They were so, the British
Towards who?
towards me.
As a Polish, you mean? As a
Because
Pole?
being a Polish citizen in London, it meant that, oh, you came here to steal our job. You're this Eastern European, dirty one. And now it's been 20 years later, British are like, Poland is the best, go for it. Poland is an example of how to cope with migrants, how to lead your politics. It means one thing. I didn't change. The mindset changed. But who is setting the mindset? It's the media around the globe. It's the agents of influence. So, for example, do you know what is the budget of Russia for propaganda? It's hundreds of billions of dollars each year. So, anti-vaccines, anti-COVID, anti-war, anti-LGBT, they're doing everything. So it is really important to realize that everything you see in media, in social media, you have to really double check. And don't close into your bubble. So if all of your friends are saying the Muslims are bad, go to the Muslim country. See it yourself. I've been to Morocco. I've been to your homeland. And, I've been to numerous of Arabic states. Honestly, this is the best place to be. I've never felt more secured. I've never felt more appreciated. This is an amazing place. And of course, there are situations that, like everywhere, even in Poland, you can get killed. But the perspective changes as you start to travel the world. So guys, really don't listen to the bullshit they're telling you, because there is someone behind this propaganda and behind this bias.
Right. So what do you think must be done so we can not fall victim of propaganda?
I think we have to start thinking by ourselves. What is European Union doing? What is all the socialists doing? They're implementing you. We will take care of you. You don't have to do much. We will give you free weekends. We will give you free holidays. We will give you money for children. We will give you money for your house. We will do everything for you. But then you will become our slave. So Donald Trump, he wants, because he not only promised to take care of the household and to be the best representative for Americans globally and to end up stupid wars, as he called them. But he also said something that is, for me, very crucial. And I don't want to get into if I'm supporting Trump or not, because I have my own standout. And I know what I think, and this is my thing, and I will not share this.
Okay.
But all I wanted to say is that he make people realize that they are on the leash. You're not thinking straight, because the system makes you not to think, not to do much. So actually, what is happening, the system is making everything and puts so much effort to make you not think, to make you not be the self-made. So it's throwing everything on you. And the only thing you gotta do is to pay taxes and be a good citizen. And if anything on the stage comes and say, well, but I don't agree with this. I feel people should work. I feel people should educate themselves. I feel people should be taking care of their country. You're being called, fascist. Because fighting for yourself is fascist now. Going to get education is bad. Well, let's go and open OnlyFans, right? Because it's easier. Let's be open. Let's change the gender. Let's be woke. Let's, do everything that is out of this world, that was never in history. We are actually doing something that never, ever our ancestors did. We are talking about there is a third or fourth gender. We are talking about that prostitution is okay. We are talking about you don't need education. You can be whoever you want. No, because the elections show that people, they want the leader who will be apart from the way he speaks, because we know the language is not acceptable. But they want the leader who was self-made by himself, who is cheering for development, who is cheering for putting an effort into your life, your family, your everything, and not to be, I'll do everything for you. Because the good parent is not letting its kids to do everything. He's like, don't do it. Don't touch it. You will hurt yourself. That is the good parent, And that is something that we really need to realize. We have to be woke, but not in this woke manner as they're suggesting. We have to be woke that realize this is my life and this is my hands and I can do everything. and do not accept the easy path.
Do you think that Poland is woke right now?
Woke in the enlightenment or woke in this third, fourth gender?
Is it a danger to Poland? That's what I'm trying to say. To Polish traditions and Polish heritage.
Maybe it sounds cliche, but all the answers are in the history.
Mhm.
That's why for many, I might sound controversial, but logic is the answer.
Mm.
Look at the history. Look at the animals. You'll see all the answers. As simple as that. And is Poland becoming woke? Yes, it is.
Mhm.
Because, like I told you,
I mean, I've seen you on these parades, the LGBT.
yeah, of
Warsaw.
course,
Yeah.
because I am very respectful. I respect everyone. I will never say a bad word about any type of minority.
Mm.
Because I've been traveling to the world, I've been migrant myself. I'm open for the any type of orientation you have. But I will not accept one thing, telling me that something that is against the nature at this point, that there is no third gender. If you look around, you'll see that there is either female or male.
Mm.
And for me, throwing an ideology on me, saying you have to be saying there is a one, because I feel like I'm between female and male. No, I respect you, but it's not in the nature. It's not logical for me.
Do you think men are becoming more feminine these days?
Oh, and then I'm going to be this bad feminist again. Oh, you know the answer. Okay, so what is your standout on this?
Or what? No, I'm asking you.
What is your
Are you
output?
asking me?
Are you asking me? What is your output?
What do you mean? Me? Oh la la. I mean,
You are a man.
yeah.
You have friends.
Mm-hmm.
How are they doing?
Well, it's different. I think in Poland we're still seeing a lot of men. I can tell you that, which makes me really happy. The country where I live, where I come from, I see a lot of men. But it seems like when you look outside these two countries, this is one of the reasons I like Poland. It's I could see the men in us, in men.
Masculinity, yay.
Yeah, and it's nice to see, because at the same time, the Polish woman is also strong, but she knows when she not had, but she may let the man lead the dance, with giving him the feeling that he's leading the dance, but she is in control. So this is what I love about Polish women, and I think we had a video about it recently. And so there is this dynamic between femininity and masculinity, which is still nice. It's going. I love it. That's why I stayed here, because I could see this dynamic, which is in Morocco too. And honestly, in Poland, I don't see it. And I am optimistic that it will stay this way. But when I see the outside world, that's why we started this conversation talking about Trump being president and how that will affect the world. Because if you see from the, let's say, the social media angle, this is the values he's trying to capitalize and invest in. Like, we need to be more masculine, we need to be more traditional, we need to this, we don't need immigrants, etc., etc. And so, but there, because the country is divided, it's 50-50, So it is very tough. It means for every two, people, one of them has in opposing ideas.
Yeah, the families are falling apart because of this fight.
Yeah, exactly.
So it seems like it's not only the ideological war, and I'm using the word war because there is so much effort and so much money invested in both ways, that this is not just a way to convince you, well, the left is better or the right is better.
Right.
This is an actual war for your mind, for your soul. They want to get it all, right? And they want to close you in this bubble via social media. So all the feed you have is saying, you're right.
Yeah, it's true.
There is this only one perspective, only to be super open for migrants is fine, or to be super bad and super aggressive towards migrant is fine. And it's not. So I've been calling myself the gray option. So neither black nor white.
White.
It's the gray that will save.
Perfect
But
setup, huh?
Yeah, but I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
We've talked about if the men are being more feminine. So
By feminine, I mean not looking, but taking less responsibilities.
okay,
What I call it is
Yeah.
the OnlyFans era, which is like women saying, fuck you, I can make money, I can...
I don't need you.
Yeah, exactly.
You can have an in vitro.
Exactly.
You can go to the
Yes.
spare bank donors. You can have everything by yourself. Yeah. So let me put it in the white picture. I always go in and like, let's just
Yeah.
narrow picture is not enough. So you go to school as you're a child. I have my son. He goes to school. At school, you have to sit tight, follow the rules, and be good. Right? You go to your home, your mother is super or maybe too
Effective.
overprotective. You cannot go to play on the playground because it's dangerous. You cannot decide for yourself because you're just a child. So for most of your life as a kid, you're being told that you cannot do this, you cannot speak, you should follow the rules, you have to be good one, don't go, don't touch, don't make, none. And then there is no father in your life because he's so busy working 9 to 5, securing your financials. Because otherwise you will be having no house to live, no food on your table, and no education, etc. So I don't want to say the system is pushing men into a certain option. And a certain option is to follow the rules. Because politicians, the governments, they care about raising up a decent citizen, the one that will obey, the one that will listen up. For example, there was a flooding in Poland over a month ago. People lost their homes. It was such a tragedy. On the other hand, we have a flooding in Spain. And you know what people did? They went out on the street and they were throwing mud on the king and on the prime minister. They were like, it's your fault. We will go after you because you did it. You did not secure us. In Poland, you know what the people did? They were just cleaning the mess by themselves.
Oh, wow.
They didn't go off the street. People were opening these donations and everyone was just super obey. Because we were taught to do so for the past 30 years.
You think
And
that's
if
the
you're
wrong
asking
approach?
me why the guards are not guys anymore, because the whole system told them to be like this, to be neutral.
So seeing the Spanish reaction to the flood and the Polish reaction to the flood, is it like a danger to society to be disobedient?
It is actually, because on the one hand, it is good that people are following the rules. But there is another side of the coin. Because men, and I know this because I've been raising my son, they have a gene of...
Innocence?
No, they have this genes of a rebel in them.
Little
And
rebels, little
if we
monsters.
kill this rebel, if we navigate them to be just a good people, decent people, and living 9 to 5, not making too much money, not having too big, like the big dream, just be an ordinary citizen. This is killing a part of your innovative side. This is killing part of your... We are allowed to be as way we want it. So this is why, in my opinion, the guys are turning into females. Because they've noticed that
It's easy to get things done.
Have you heard this story about the woman that turned into men?
Yeah.
And then she regretted this and she turned into woman again because she said living as a
Oh,
guy is the worst thing.
No, actually, she's an author, and she had a very tragic ending.
Oh,
I think she
didn't make it?
yeah, I think she died or something like this. I'm not sure. We have to.
So
But if we're talking about the same person, but she wrote a book and she realized this was the worst, and then she
yeah,
left.
yeah, that's the one. So if the guys are seeing that women, they've been maintaining themselves for years and they've been good, so they're choosing the logical option just to be safe and secure. And why do I have to work if she can do it for me? You said about the OnlyFans era. Have you heard about those 22-year-olds retiring after making $60-70 million on OnlyFans in 3 years? So if you see that you can, by being and using your body, sexualizing your body by prostitution, you can make such a lot of money, then what's the point of going into innovations, going into education? It's better just to be reckless.
So wait there, because actually I want to broaden this topic because I know you're a hardworking woman. You're a beast. You're a killer. I admire this quality in you, in a beautiful way, not a beast in a, you know what I mean. And how does that make you feel when you see a girl? She basically takes a couple selfies, she shows her ass on, and she makes millions. And you, in the other hand, you're killing yourself. You have a son. You're doing all these things, and you probably make 1% of what she makes in a week or something. How does that make you feel?
It doesn't, because I have no time to think about others in this sense that I know what is the best for me. And I can tolerate what the girls are doing because I am a very tolerant person, like I told you.
No, you are.
But this is not logical for me because women are made this way by nature and we have a purpose in our life. And it's not to show off boobs and the rest via internet. So let's think about the long-term consequences.
Ah, good. Yeah.
The woman is exploited by the age of 20-something. And actually, there is no cure for the age, right? You will get age. What is the future for her? Because the money, and you know this.
She can make money and just retire, you know?
The money, it's not the goal itself. The money is just a resource to fulfill your life. And I don't believe that making money is a parameter for success. It's not something that will fulfill her. There are cases of huge depression. There are cases of breakdowns. And there were so many models already who said that, you know, it was fine until it was fine. And then I have problems to commit. I have problems to be accepted by the society. My parents are not talking to me. I've lost my chance because you cannot turn back the time. You cannot go and be professional. You cannot do a career once you did what you did. And at this point, you might feel you're the king. But what is going to be in the future? How are you going to tell your kids that, well, do you imagine if they're going to have kids, will they be cheering them to do so? No. And just to have money and just to have a comfortable life, it's not worth to be downfalled in so many manners and so many factors.
So you are pretty much like a role model to so many women. I get personally like a lot of people, my friends watching the show, and they say, Karolina is amazing. She's incredible.
Yeah, but it's not like being
inspiring.
Being inspiring is paying your bills. You know what I mean? So
that's what I'm trying. Let me finish. What I'm trying to say here, how can we inspire women who feel lost? not going that route of selling their bodies on the internet, even though it's very profitable.
How can we inspire? Well, I believe that these women on OnlyFans are the victim of the system that told them not to put in too much effort in their lives. It's not logical to turn into destructive way, because as people, as a human beings, we are designed to evolve. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they are a victim at some point of this fucked up society. This society that prefers to see naked women instead of smart women. But where it started, do you know where it started?
Where?
It started in Hollywood. The Hollywood was depicting women in a certain way for years. You know the P. Diddy case now, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So he was covered for so many years for doing enslaving women.
And guys, too.
And guys too.
Poor Justin Bieber.
You know, they say that there are two things that ruling the world. It's money and it's sex, right? So if you make people dependent on money, and we are now very dependent on money, because if you will not get the salary, you will not pay your mortgage, you will not get your food, you're fucked up. Sorry for saying, but
It's okay.
you are a slave of the money. And you're also enslaved by this sexualized. How many people, tell me honestly, how many of your friends are addicted to porns?
I mean, I cannot tell, but I think everyone watches porn. It's
Oh, right.
reality.
Why is it so available? Why is it so easy to get there?
True.
Because it is giving such dopamine boost that you're so enslaved. Don't look at prostitution, as sexual liberation, as a way of, yeah, it's the modern times. No, this is a tool of enslaving people. And enlightenment is realizing that I'm being played by the system. Go back to the parent. The parent wants the children to be safe. So that's why it's not allowing them to do everything. Why the state is allowing you to do everything? And of course, democracies are saying everybody's equal. Everybody has the same rights. You can do whatever you want. This is democracy. This is freedom. But is it really beneficial for us? And don't get me wrong, I'm not turning into tyranny. But like everywhere, you gotta set up the rules. And if there is no rules, there is no growth. And oh, didn't I just tell you that European Union is shrinking the economy? People will be losing their jobs. The technology there is no technology boost in Europe. China, look at the China cars. They're now being sold, the electric cars in Europe. Really? The cars and the whole industry of car engines were set up in Europe, Germany, and now they're selling Chinese cars? What the heck is going on with us?
What do you think is the source of that? Of this fall of Europe?
The fall of Europe?
Yeah.
Well, you can see it. The policies, right? There is, for me, a group of people, but it's, you know, it's probably a little conspiracy theory, but for me, there is a group of people in the world, well, it's not actually just a theory, it's known that 1% of people owns the money as the 99% of the rest of the world. So you got the answer. Who, it's, you know, we got this feeling that we are really the masters of our lives. Kamal, are you master of your life?
I would like to hope so.
But you are doing well because you've been putting so much effort in self-development. But look at those people who graduated and they just went to work And they were working on the same spot in the same place for years and years and years. And all they have to do is just make more money because the prices are rising. Back in the day, you could get mortgage. You could buy your own house. You could buy your own car. Our kids will not be able to buy their own houses because the system doesn't want you to own the house, because the system needs to put you into this rolling wheel like a hamster. You got to keep on pushing. You got to keep on going. So you don't stop and think, oh my God, this is something wrong. It's not how the world should be designed. It's not how we should live. You know? That is my perspective on this. But I feel I'm talking with a lot of people, experts, and what they are pointing out is we are being enslaved by ideologies, by politics, and the social media just sticked us into the bubbles, information bubbles. So there is no way out, actually. I mean, there is a way out. There's always a way out, which is the Donald Trump and his revolutionary and very, not calm way of
like
getting out of it.
aggressive.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say aggressive, but it's just, he believes that people should fight for their lives. And you know how the fight is going on, right? With the Capitol attack, the January 6th, it's hard to say it, but I don't see if there's any option to fight for a better future if not to take things in your hands like the Spaniards took. They went off the streets and they were throwing mud on the king.
Yeah, I saw that yesterday. I was a little bit shocked.
Yeah.
They really attack. You mentioned politicians all the time, quite often. And we do have quite a few the politician stars here in Poland. Dominik Tarczynski, what do you think about the guy? We almost had him on the show.
Zero migrants.
We almost had him on the show, but he canceled the last minute, but we're trying to set it again. So what was your take on Dominik Tarczynski and his rhetoric? That is the important question.
Yeah, so Dominik Tarczynski, he said this, I think it's a motto of him, like, be like Poland. And now he's been elected to the second term for the European Parliament as an MP. And, so he's definitely not a mediocre politician. Because he can feel
Talks with a lot of passion.
winds of change, and that's what making average people to be big people is to go on the wind of change. And so we talked about Trump. He's been on the Trump rally, and he's been standing few steps behind Donald Trump in the Salem, Virginia. And he said, I'm cooperating with this Trump, the Trump option. And he's just superstar now on YouTube because he went to this YouTuber.
We watched this documentary video when they had this Tyler Olivier, the YouTuber from the US. I think he came to Poland. He was showing him Warsaw, and he's like, look, so safe, so clean. It was very interesting. And then they went to the borders, right? And he showed them that we're gonna kill these illegals and these Muslims.
And Tarczynski said, we are racist and we're proud of this. Well, Dominik Tarczynski is a figure that first of all...
What do you think about his style of communication? Because, he talks a lot about zero illegal migrants or immigrants. And he tends to put Muslims in one basket, all of us.
No, the last time he was with this Iraqi citizen and they were hugging and he was yeah, good for you, get your Polish wife. So he is just the master of PR.
I agree.
And I don't believe he has any type of political opinion. He will do everything to stand out.
Do you think he's trying to be president of Poland one day?
Who doesn't? I was joking the other day that way.
You know what? When we did the intro for the episode where he interviewed me, and we were wearing both blue suits, and everyone said you look like a presidential couple. You should be president.
Well,
so
with Tarczynski,
you do have the picturesque.
No, I mean, politics for me is a dirty game. So that's why I will never enter
Go
the
there.
politics. So Tarczyński is an example of a person that is telling a lot, saying a lot, and it's very, very on edge. What he says is aggressive. What he says is not working for Poland. So
You think so?
yes, it is not.
But it seems like in the internet, he has a lot of fans, if I may.
Yeah, of course he's viral, because
And you know
everything
what?
that is extreme is
Excuse me, I have to
viral.
stop you there again, because if you go to the video with this YouTuber, this American YouTuber, all the comments they're saying, "Oh, we need this man as the president of Germany. We need this man as the president of France." A lot of people are
Yeah.
agreeing with. He knows who is his target very well, and he's very open about it.
Uh-huh.
He speaks with a lot of passion, which is admirable. He's very patriotic, loves Poland. We could see
Is
that.
he really? You think
I
so?
think so. And
Saying all Polish are racist and we are proud of this?
are you
not
sure you said
patri-
that?
Yeah, he said, we are racist and we are proud of this. He said that we will kill all the migrants
Illegal,
Who-
Mason.
who are entering because there was some adjustment to the law because of the death of one of the
Yeah,
border guards. So it's the same with the Trump.
Hmm.
So you can admire his wokeness and enlightenment because he says that the system is oppressing you. Back in the day, the language we used and the way of communication we used was different. For example, there's this viral clip now of John McCain who he was in a race with Obama for presidency. And there was some woman approaching him and she was like, "Yeah, is Obama an Arab?" And he was like, "No, ma'am, he's not." And for me, thinking that it was not that long time ago, but the change and the shift is so huge. Because if someone is throwing bad words on you, it can go the same way to others.
It
it's
pushes
that
people
simple.
more, yeah.
And it's turning people against each other. So you've asked me if Tarczyński can be a president. Yes, he can be a president because he can be voted president. But the question is, what type of a president it is who will be saying, this citizen is fine, I like him, and this one is crazy, this one is bad, let's kill. If any politician ever uses those kind of words, shall not ever be elected
Wow.
to represent the
strong
whole
take.
country.
But Trump is using that language.
Yes, that's why, I told you, don't think I'm a supporter.
But on paper, it seems like his politics are, again, resonating with a lot of people. And it seems at heart that he has America's interest first, which seems to be genuine.
So, you see, sometimes I have this feeling that elections is not about choosing the best candidate. It's choosing the less
Evil, yeah?
evil one.
Mm-hmm.
And if America decided to go for Trump, and even though he had those numerous of court cases, he had those different dramas in media, they were media after them, and I'm still standing like the Elton John sing. So he's still standing.
So speaking about, you mentioned citizens, and so just one thing I would like to have your opinion on, because remember when the war unfortunately started between Russia and Ukraine, Poland did a tremendous and beautiful job in welcoming, the Ukrainians who flee the war. And there was this beautiful pictures and videos on social media, people opening their homes and, having Ukrainians. But and I watched that with big admiration because I'm immigrant myself, and it warmed my heart to see such feelings, right? A lot of my neighbors even, they welcomed some Ukrainians. It was beautiful to see. I was at the time at Morocco. And so when I came back, I saw this new narrative. But recently, it seems like the sentiment towards Ukrainians has changed. I might be wrong, You're the expert in this topic. Am I just imagining things, or
Yeah, I had this impression myself.
why do you think that?
So we are 3 years into this war, the full-scale war. And, well, I mean, we have to be brutally honest.
Well, that's the motto of the show.
There is a lot of Ukrainians living in Poland. And as you live in Warsaw or any other big city, you can see there is a lot of very rich people driving the best cars, G-Wagons, renting the most luxurious apartments. So you have this feeling that, are they really refugees? Or they just relocated because they wanted a better life and not to be bothered by war. So I went to the front line. I've been to Ukraine for a few months. And the people who are really in need, they stayed there. How would you relocate if you have nothing? How would you relocate from the front line if you have no car, no option, no language?
Asylum and refugee status as well.
They can use the humanitarian, of course, the humanitarian organizations. But Warsaw and the circumstances in here, it is so expensive. How do you imagine a refugee to survive in this town that it's not even good enough for its own citizens, And this is very brutal.
So you think
Because
this is
people
what
are thriving for surviving in here. It's really expensive to get a mortgage now and to get the apartment. The prices are skyrocketing. I've seen this data saying that the prices are rising faster than in Miami.
Oh,
So that now to buy a 1 square meter of apartment in Warsaw, it's more expensive than in Barcelona.
that's true. I confirm that.
Yeah, you can confirm that. So
Wait, so what you're saying is, because it's two different, if you're talking about these rich Ukrainians and flaunting the money and the supercars and everything, but in the other hand, there are some Ukrainians who truly lost their home and they lost everything. And these people, they deservedly, need some help, right?
Yeah, but they are working 9 to 5 each and every day, and they're busy with surviving. They are not making people anxious, Polish people anxious.
So you think the rich ones are...
Well, when you go to a club or to the bar, you can see those rich guys. Guys. Isn't this the case of from 18 to 60? This is the time where a man is not allowed to leave Ukraine. How did he manage to get in there? I'll tell you how. It costs $5,000 to bribe the boarding guard and to get into Poland.
Really?
Didn't we just say that the world is based on money?
That we know, yeah.
So this is for people in Poland. We are very helpful, like you said. You just gotta know you better. We just gotta know you better. But yeah, that was the phrase from the last episode. We just need to know you better. But it seems so much obvious now that the person in need is no longer here because she probably came back to its homeland, or she had to just work and is busy with surviving. So the standouts are now the rich people who can afford to live their lavish lives. And this is bothering people.
So you think, again, these wealthy Ukrainians are spoiling the reputation of the Ukrainians who truly need help?
Yeah, that was the same in England. In England, there were
because the problem
millions of Poles who were working hard, studying, paying taxes. But then all the media talked about was about, oh, there is some Polish guy who stole something, or they had like family fight and everything. Because the media are driven by something. It's either politics, ideology, and everything. So do you know, I will tell you something. There is a lot of incidents with Ukrainian citizens in Poland nowadays. We even have our own George Floyd, a Ukrainian man that was killed by the police.
Really?
It happened a week ago. The story didn't do much of a headline.
Yeah, I didn't hear about it.
You didn't hear about it. You know why? Because it's somehow designed to be this way. That's how the George Floyd case came up. Because it was motivated by politics. It was motivated by some media groups. So there is a lot of cases of those Ukrainians who are being caught as...
in the middle, yeah.
Yeah, and who are so... If you are talking with Polish people, and if you ask them, so what do you think about Ukrainians? They'll be like, well, you know, I know it's a war, but come on. In the media, you can see there was this drunk Ukrainian driving a car. There was this family fight, Ukrainians killing each other and everything.
So why is the media doing this? What's the end goal here?
Maybe it's being set up by Russian propaganda. And regarding the Ukrainians, refugees in Poland, it's not like the Polish approach has changed. But at some point, we are just seeing the reality. The reality stands for most of the luxurious cars in Warsaw are on the Ukrainian plates. We can see that they have a lot of money. And we are asking this very logical question. So why do we still support them financially if they have so much money? Why?
But we're supporting the refugees, not the rich ones, I assume.
Yeah, but the refugees, like I told you, the refugees who are the real refugees are working out there and you don't see them because they're working 9 to 5 or even more to survive in this Warsaw, like very expensive city. And I told you that the perspective of Poles never changed. We are still against the war and we are still very supportive for the Ukrainians. We are just asking this very vital question, like in the case of the Arab migrants. There are so many rich Arab countries. Why aren't they accepting the refugees from Palestine? Why do we expect Europe to fix all the world life problems? So we are, as a Poles, we are asking the questions. If you have so many rich Ukrainians here living their lavish life, why can you provide for the poor ones? And also, there is still this law and regulations where we, from our taxes, we pay to provide for the refugees. And of course, I am, I've been to war. I know the reality. And I know that the Russia is our enemy, not the Ukrainians. And also my grandmother was born in Ukraine. So it's not about being pro or anti-Ukrainian. It's about asking the vital question. And the vital question is, do we still need to provide for them in case if their own citizens are spending money on the left and right and living their best lives? Why are we obliged to support them and their own citizens are not?
So this is what Polish people feel right now, because you're the voice of Poland.
I'm not
I
the
love
voice
you,
of
Paul, but
I'm not the voice of Poland. I'm just seeing and I'm talking with people, and these anti-Ukrainian feelings are rising. So at this point, we should implement the correct law to prevent from spreading the hatred.
True.
So sometimes, if you see that you gave someone a finger and then it's throwing the whole arm, you're thinking, wait, like stop here. Let's negotiate. And also, the political the political approach has changed because the Ukrainian president Volodymyr Zelensky has also shifted in his approach. Why? Well, he's a war hero. He's worldwide known. Wherever he goes, wherever he appears, he's being clapped and wowed and everything. So he started to act a little too cocky and too confident. And for example, he's not asking for help. He's demanding the help. And I know this is a war situation, but you cannot demand. Imagine the situation. You're a homeless person. You knock someone's door and you say, I demand a sleeping place for me because I'm a poor man and I'm going to freeze death. You cannot play on someone's feeling, even if there is a war situation. And you have to be really appreciative for all this we've done so far. This is the true diplomacy. We every single day from 30 years, we are thankful to Americans for giving us the chance to freedom, democracy in Poland. And Americans has been, are, and will always be our allies because we know what it means, what they did to us. In the meantime, Ukrainians, they received so much weapons, so much money, so much support. Still, the response is not nice. And it's all about logic. I will not allow anyone who I'm helped to disrespect me. And this is the Polish approach. I believe this is the Polish approach. And if we will not stop this spiral now, it will get better. It will get worse. And there will be some racist approach. And we are friends with Ukrainians. I love all the Ukrainians. They're an amazing people. At war, I've met so many great people. We are the same. We are Slavs. We have this amazing approach. And it will be a pity to waste such a friendship because there is no tension between Poles and Ukrainians. There is just this misunderstanding of situation.
That needs to be okay. Because I'm only asking, monitoring the social media and seeing the comments, and I see a lot of anger and a lot of people are commenting, the Ukrainians are still in our jobs, they are doing this, they are doing that. And I'm thinking, wait, what's going on here? You know?
Okay. So according to the data,
Yeah.
Poland is the second in the European Union with the lowest percentage of unemployment, right? So we don't have a problem with getting a job. The problem is that the employers need employees, and there is none on the market available. So according to the data from May this year, there were almost 700,000 Ukrainians working and paying taxes in Poland. 700,000.
Wow.
What if they were not here? Who would work?
True. That's the...
Right? Yeah. So now Polish government is implementing this new migration policy. It will also be considering the other type of migrants, not only the Ukrainian ones, but also from Asia, from Central Asia. There's a lot of migrants from India, from Pakistan, in Poland. And they will be needed to restrict certain law in order to stay here. Because the previous government had a very open arms because the market and the economy need it. So if you were an employer back in the day, years ago, when there was a law and justice and ruling as a ruling party, you could just approach the institution and say, yeah, I need some workers. And the visas were given everywhere. So now the government is trying to kind of control this because as you realize, there's more and more migrants in Poland. I mean, we are talking about legal migrants now.
Yeah.
So the Uber drivers, you can see all this...
change.
Yeah, all this Uber food, eats and everything. There is a lot of people from all around the world. And, the lesson needs to be taken from France, Germany, because the first migrants were the legal migrants. Turkish people in Germany. The African in France, they were all legal migrants.
Mm-hmm.
But they had kids, they had grandkids,
Generations, yeah.
the generations. And we have to really think about the strategy of our country if we want to stay as we are. And it's not about racism. It's, we put racism, we put intolerance everywhere. This is the political correctness. And that's what we should talk about. That everything needs to be politically correct. Saying we have to take care of our country, our own country. Oh, you're fascist. No, I'm not. I'm just taking care of the house for my son to live in. That's why you have to take care of the climate. Not because, oh, you're this eco-crazy bitch. No, I'm not. I can see that the climate has changed. You can see it too, right? Look at the floodings. Look at the temperatures. Look at the snow in these mountains. The climate is changing. It's not a propaganda. So you have to, as a country, think about, yes, so the climate is changing. We have to really implement some acts and some law in order to prevent it from worsening. But not get crazy about it like the European Union is doing. European Union is like, okay, let's just change your life, stop traveling, stop this and everything. So there is no strategy. And I feel that the lack of strategy is the worst. Imagine your life, right? You have no plan for the next 2 years. Oh, I don't care. I don't care about my life. You cannot live in the country that doesn't care about the future. It needs like a real forecast for upcoming 5, 10 to 15 years, like the China did. And the China is an example of they had those 10 years plans. And consistently, they were doing step by step by implementing new solutions. And in the 90s, you knew made in China. That was the crap you bought on this flea market. Now, made in China makes America shit their pants. You know what I mean? So by looking at others, countries, people, really you can get the lesson of what is the best. And what is the best is thinking logical, it's, taking strategy into consideration and just planning everything.
So how can we close the circle in this conversation? We started with Trump, we talked about Tarczyński, about Ukraine, about the propaganda.
Guys and girls.
We have the tradition, closing tradition. Philip will give me here the magic box.
The magic?
Actually, yeah, I'll start. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Oh.
The magic box.
What is it?
It's from Morocco. So we've got some, this is the Warsaw Confidential game. So for the fans can play it at home. There's some very personal questions to spark conversations. And we're going to choose a random question for you, and then you will choose.
But you know everything about me already.
Oh, we don't know. So I'm going to close my eye and pick one.
Okay.
And the question would be, is it ever appropriate to hurt someone's feelings?
Are you really, have you really chose this one by accident?
Yeah, by accident.
Wow. So
on the topic, huh?
With me, I feel I would have much more publicity if I would be more fundamental in my political approach or my social approach. Sometimes I'm being accused of being too bland, too gray, and well, you've been there, now you're there, and who is real Karolina? So this is my life motto: never hurt anyone's feeling.
Wow.
And I wanted to be treated the way I treat others. So that's why the respect is the most important. That's why imagining yourself in someone else's shoes is important. That's why I travel the world, because I just want to find out. And you know what? That's the moment when I discovered we're being played by the system. Not everyone can afford to go around the world. I'm on my all around the world journey. So I'm almost 50 country now,
Yeah,
50.
only
country.
200 to go.
No, it's 140. 140.
I have a lot of imaginary countries.
Yeah.
No, I know what you're saying.
Because I want to be so respectful to the people.
Right.
And if I am about to say something, like about Ukrainians, like about
So you're not hurting
Americans,
these feelings, you're just being honest.
I'm saying this because I've been there, I've seen them, I've talked to them, I've studied, I've read the books. And if you want to say something about others, learn your lesson, get some knowledge. Don't base on your feelings. Don't say something just because it will go viral. And never hurt anyone's feeling. Even if you hate the option, say it in a respectful way.
Diplomatic way, yeah.
But not political correctness, because political correctness
is the other
is
side.
killing the innovation.
I see.
You cannot do this because it will. You cannot do this. You cannot go there. No. If you're respecting others, then you can say whatever.
Okay, well, Karolina, this has been a wonderful conversation. I am so glad you came. You commented on this present and current situations. I think a lot of people will find a lot of value on this conversation. So I want to thank you again for being an inspiration and a great friend.
Thank you for having me. And I feel like we're this great mix of
Yes,
two
you
different
are.
worlds, black and white. And then let's just make it all gray.
Exactly. Perfect. Next time we're going to wear gray. Karolina, thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much for having me.
I will see you soon.
Yeah, for sure.
Stories are the single most powerful weapon any leader can arm themselves with. They are the currency of humanity. And those who tell inspiring, emotional, powerful stories rule the world. And today, I am super excited to talk to you about storytelling. To put it simple, storytelling changed my life. It allowed me to meet the most incredible people in my life, to raise capital for my startups in Dragon's Den, and simply improve my life as a human being. And today, I would like you to do the same. So, I am excited to announce my upcoming masterclass in the art of storytelling. And so, if this is something you're interested in, I would love you to join our masterclass. So, you can leave your details below, and I will be in touch. Thank you so much, and see you soon.